Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to eekrcfun. My name is Eric, and look what we have today. A vintage Losi JRX2. So just a little backstory on the JRX2 in case you don't know. This was Team Losi's, or Losi at the time. This was their very first race buggy. They spent some time working with Team Associated, working on, I think, one of their pan cars, the RC12L, L for Losi, and they also helped develop the RC10. They eventually just decided, hey, we're going to make our own because of supply issues, and, I guess they weren't working very well with Team Associated anymore. They were trying to get RC10s to sell at their shop, which is the Ranch Pit Shop, and they had an agreement, and the agreement didn't work out, and Associated kind of backed out a little bit on their deal, and Losi said, okay, we're going to make our own buggy. Well, this is it, and this thing is fantastic. First, let's talk about what I have for it, what came with it. So I have the JRX2 owner's guide. Now, this is a little bit discolored, and it was kind of sitting around this guy's garage for a while. I also have the Team Losi Performance, their price list, and all of their parts that they sold back then. And that included, all the JRX2 stuff, all the upgrades, tires and wheels, bodies, gearing, which is, I believe, how Losi started making gears and accessories. They also have their motors back here. So this is a really good resource with part numbers. And let's see, part numbers and the actual Revolution names. And you also see that they put a Team Losi sticker here, or it got caught on there. I don't want to rip it off because then I can't read underneath it. But yeah, it's kind of cool to have. It's a little bit of a, time capsule. I also have the original box. Okay, so here's the box. It is really beat up. I mean, this thing is destroyed. It's been taped together in spots. This thing was just used and abused. And just to let you know, they actually stored their RC car in there. They stored the JRX2 in there when they weren't using it, so they took it out, put it back in, took it out, put it back in. So you see the condition of the box? Well, that's the condition that the JRX2 came in. just a couple other things. You see the green, it's racing green, it's a Tamiya color, and these wheels are not the original orange wheels. These are JC Racing replica wheels because the original orange ones were shot. So there's a weak spot inside where the bearings go, and the original orange ones are just known to crack, and they do. They crack pretty easily. The JC Racing ones are better plastics. And I have J Concepts tires in the front and in the back. I don't remember which ones. I could not source original Losi tires, and to be honest, I didn't want to, because you guys know me. I like to run my buggies. I don't make a lot of videos on running them, but I do like to run them. If I'm going to keep this and I do run it, well, I want tires that I want. That's what I went with. So original style. You can see the nylon, nuts. These wheel nuts. These are original ones that I did find, and you can still find some original parts because they did sell a lot of spare parts for these. So this one is all original except for the wheels and tires. The body is a Team Blue Groove body, and the wing. I was able to source the wing wire, which is great. The front bumper is not original, and I think it's a copy of the JG aftermarket front bumper, and I really like it because it's very basic and simple. Protects the nose, it protects these pieces here, the hinges. So let's look a little bit more into this. I'm going to take the body off right now so you guys can take a look. The wing wire just slides right out of the tubes. Now, it's not the easiest to slide out, but it also comes out when you're tumbling around. Actually looks kind of cool without it too, kind of like a Kyosho Optima. So let me get the body off, we'll take a closer look. All right, so before I go any further, I just wanted to show you I did put an under tray on it because I thought that was important. I painted the bottom with a silver and the sides black. The obvious, I went with more modern electronics. I mean, they would have had an ESC in here, it just would have been like a Novak or something. And a high-tech, high-speed servo. And I went with a Kyosho Mega motor, which I love these motors. I wish I had more of them. This one has brand new brushes. It has brand new bearings in it. It runs perfect. So yeah, this is basically what you get when you get a JRX2 back in 1988. You can see the graphite chassis, very stiff, really well made. See, it's got the original JRX2 bulkhead in very good condition. The original arms, JRX2 arms. Everything is pretty much original. I'm trying to think if there's anything on here that is not. Unlike the JRX-T that I have, this does not have any upgrades as far as RPM parts and whatnot. This is basically just how you would get it out of the box. And that was one of the great things about the JRX2. You can literally take this out of the box, put your electronics in, build it, and you have a race buggy. So yeah, pretty much everything's fully adjustable, except for there's only a couple positions for the shock mounts, and the rear mounts are fixed, not like the JRX Pro. I believe that one has a different shock mount that has different holes you can choose from. I don't have a JRX Pro, but this was in terrible shape, and if I already showed you the videos, you already saw. Let me roll back just a little bit. So I bought this from the original owner, and well, it was actually the original owner's brother. So his brother had the JRX-T, and he had the JRX-T, and his brother had the JRX-2. Now, I have a feeling that his brother passed away because he kind of got emotional when he started talking about this, and he was a little hesitant to sell it in the first place, although he had it up there on Facebook Marketplace and was ready to sell it. So I think he was just emotionally attached to it. Now, for that reason, I did tell him, because you'll see in the video that I have, it was painted like a dark green. And I told him that I would do some kind of color scheme that was similar, just as a tribute to his brother. And he really, really enjoyed that. He thought that was a great idea. So that's the story behind the green. I think I probably would have done box art if not. So yeah, so let me go back to this. So the chassis, what they did was, I believe they used double-sided tape, and even this is mounted with double-sided tape like the original. And you can see it doesn't have the mounting posts, like I put the RPM mounting posts on the JRX-T because that had some holes in it. You can see that it is kind of marked up here a little bit. Well, what they did was they used double-sided tape, right? But then they decided at some point to use glue. And I don't know if it was like some kind of epoxy or what, but I was scraping stuff off of this chassis for the longest time. And I actually think it came out okay. But for the most part, you know, things get covered by what goes here anyway. And everything's mounted solid, and there's nothing wrong with the chassis. The chassis is perfect, other than it's got some marks on it and some things from the previous owner. And I think it's perfect. I really do. It's got to show some wear and tear. It's from 1988. These guys raced it. They told me there was some local track out in eastern Long Island back in the 80s or early 90s, and they would bring their buggies and they would race them. The JRX-T, the JRX2. They would have fun. They would bash them. They would have a great time. He told me all the stories. It sounded like they had so much fun with these, and it was such a good time in his life that I think that's why he was, you know, a little emotional about getting rid of it. Anyway, so I did replace the spur gear. Now this is an 82 tooth spur gear, just like the original, but the original spur gear was really noisy and didn't seem like it was cut right or molded right. It had a little slight wobble in it. So I did go out and get another Losi. This is still made by Losi, and they have, you know, all different colors. The different colors are the different tooth gears. They're probably in here somewhere. So this one is just a much better, well-balanced, well-made spur gear. And, you know, it is very smooth. The diff is smooth. Everything worked out really well. The suspension is great. And you know what? These are so durable that I would not hesitate to enter this in some kind of vintage racing series. I really would. I would have to have some spares, but, you know, just in case. But I really would enter this in like some kind of vintage racing series. You can, the things that do wear out, you can get those parts still, which is great. And yes, they're going to be eBay. They're going to be people asking a crazy amount of money for them. Hinge pins were really crusty, and I did have to clean those up. So let me get the body back on so we get the full effect of this beauty. And let me know what you think. Do you guys have a JRX2 or did you have one? Are you upset that you got rid of it? Because most people do. I've heard that story many times with many RCs. Oh, I had one back in the day. I miss it. I shouldn't have sold it. I wish I still had it. We've all heard those stories before. So yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this one. After I did build it, I'm like, I wonder what the orange wheels would look like. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and give me a thumbs up if you can. I really appreciate it. I'll see you on the next video.